What is going on YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and yes, we are back with another Hot 10 list. If you guys aren't familiar with this series, what I do is I take the 10 hottest selling comics of last week and I go through them courtesy of the Key Collector app, and I let you guys know if I'd be buying these books here at these prices or if I would stay away or if I'd even be selling these books right now. But before we get started, like I always do, I want you to ask, if you are not a current subscriber of the channel and you are currently watching this video, I want you to go ahead and click the subscribe button for me because it does help that the channel out. And of course, I want you to smash that like button if you're enjoying this content. But most of all, I want you to comment down below. Let me know what you think of this video. If you own any of the books, are you buyers here at these prices, sellers? You guys let me know down in the comments what you think. We're going to jump right into it here. At number 10 is one of my all-time favorite books, Amazing Spider-Man, number 50, the first appearance of the Kingpin. Now, not only is this the first appearance of the Kingpin, but when I talk about this book, I always say that this is a classic cover by John Romita. Just an awesome book. I actually own 4 copies of this book, believe it or not, guys, and yes, I'm always a buyer of it. A CGC 2.5 recently sold last week for $610, and that's up 4% since May of this year. If you guys haven't checked out a video I did a couple of months ago, I actually snatched up another raw copy of this book for a crazy price. If you guys haven't checked out that video, I suggest you look through my playlist and watch it. It's really some awesome stuff. I try to drop a link if I can. At number 9 this week is a copy of Fantastic Four, number 13, the first appearance of the Watcher. Now, we did get a Watcher, I don't want to say appearance, in the What If series. Either way, a CGC 2.5 recently sold last week for $500, which is actually up 75% since 2019, which is actually incredible. Before the whole comic book market boom that we've been seeing over the past 6 months, yes, I am a buyer of this book as well. I'm anxious to see if the Watcher will ever appear or possibly narrate something in a live-action MCU movie. I'm not too sure, but either way, it's a book I would love to own, and if I could still get it at a decent price, I'm all over it. At number 8 this week is a copy of Shock Suspense Stories number 6. I am really shocked to see this book on here this week. We haven't really had a lot of pre-code horror on these Hot 10, so I'm really happy to see this genre finally getting some love. This, of course, is a classic cover by Wally Wood. I do have some pre-code horror books. I do not have this one. Either way, a CGC 4.5 recently sold last week for $1,384, which is actually up 25% since 2019. Now, I love the pre-code horror genre. I do collect some of the books, but I will say this, if you are not a pre-code horror collector, these books appreciate in value a lot slower than these Marvel or even some of these DC keys that we're seeing go up. So if you're willing to hold on to these books for the long term, I'm always a buyer of these books. If you're not, if you're looking to get in and out, I'd probably be staying away. But either way, for me, I'm not spending $1,400 on a pre-code horror book unless it's like one of the big ones. But either way, if I could find this book for cheap for a lower price, I definitely would snatch it because I am a pre-code horror collector. At number 7 this week is a book that was on the list last week, Iron Man 55, the first appearance of Thanos, the first appearance of Drax, and moreover, right now, the first appearance of Star Fox, aka Eros. Now, spoiler warning, so if you guys want to back out of this video now, there's your chance. Eros, Star Fox, I heard, is getting his own post-credit scene in the Eternals movie. So that is the big deal with this book right now. If you did not own a copy and you want to pick one up, a CGC 7.5 will cost you about $1,100, and that's up 15% since May of this year. Now, this is a book I'd always like to own only because it is the first appearance of a major character, Thanos, first appearance of Drax, but if you're buying it only for the speculation of Star Fox, I'm not sure I'd be picking it up here at these prices. It is a really, really expensive book right now in mid to higher grade. I'd probably be staying away here at these prices. I'm not even sure what the MCU has planned for this character. You never know though, guys. But if you want to buy it, that's up to you. For me, I'm staying away. At number 6 this week is some DC love. Batman number 121, the first appearance of Mr. Freeze. Now, of course, in this book, he is not referred to as Mr. Freeze. They call him Mr. Zero. Either way, this is his origin story as well. A classic Silver Age DC key. I am a buyer of these big DC Silver Age keys when I can find them for cheap. But this one is not a cheap one. A CGC 4.5 recently sold last week for $2,800, up 6% since April. Yes, I'm a buyer of this book if I can find it for a decent price. However, $3,000 is a lot of money to be shelling out for one of these keys. I get it. Like I said, the DC keys haven't appreciated as much as the Marvel ones. We've seen Mr. Freeze in a movie before. Oh, God knows it was an awful movie. Hopefully, sooner rather than later, we get a Mr. Freeze in a future Batman DC movie that is actually a good movie. Then you're going to see this book fly off the shelves. But if you can afford this book and if you get it for under book value, yes, I'm a buyer. But if you can't, if you have to pay full price, I'm probably not. At number 5 this week is a mega key, Journey into Mystery number 83, the first appearance of Thor. Yes, I am always a buyer of this book only because it is a monster grail key. And if you can afford it and you can add it to your collection, yes, I'd always be a buyer because long term, this book will always keep going up. The CGC 3.0 recently sold last week for $13,000, which is actually up 24% since August. So yes, what I'm finding over the years in the comic book market is that we will get a massive increase in value, and then we'll go about 5 to 10 years and not really see much movement or possibly even a decrease. But when these jumps do occur, they are far exceeding the decrease in value or the stalemate that is occurring in these books. So yes, I am always a buyer of these big keys, but I was just hanging on to them for a really long time, and I have my copy and it's kind of never going anywhere. So yes, I'm a buyer. At number 4 this week is another monster book, Fantastic Four, number 5, the first appearance of Doctor Doom. And you know Doctor Doom is imminent in the MCU, probably going to take about 5 to 7, possibly even 10 years for him to show up. Either way, I'm always a buyer of this book as well. It's CGC 3.5, recently sold last week for $11,400, up 23% since this July. That is crazy, guys. I remember a couple of years ago, you could have had a really low grade copy for under $1,000, and now 3.5, you're paying almost $14,000 for this book. Yes, to me, I'm always a buyer of probably one of the greatest Marvel villains there is in comic books. Yes, I said it, and we finally see him show up in the MCU. It's all bets are off. This book is going to still keep going a lot higher in price. So yes, I'm always a buyer of the first appearance of Doctor Doom. At number 3 this week is a book that has absolutely gone crazy over the past couple of weeks. We've talked about it to death. It is a copy of Thor 165, the first appearance of him out of the cocoon, which later goes on to become Adam Warlock. We got to know that Will Poulter has been cast as Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and all these books are now spiking in prices. A CGC 3.5 recently sold this week for $450. It was actually not a bad price considering. I still think this book is a buy. Yes, we are not going to see Adam Warlock just one time in the MCU. I believe we're going to see him continuously over the next 5 years appearing in certain different projects. So yes, I am still a buyer. This book is actually up 29% since July of this year. I am glad that I picked up my copies a few years ago. I'm actually probably up 100% or more from when I bought them. So yes, I am still a buyer if I could find them at a decent price, but I'm not just jumping into any copy at this point. I want to buy the copy that's right for me, guys. At number 2 this week is the book that was number 1 last week. It is a copy of Shazam number 28, the second appearance of Black Adam. Now, I told you guys last week and actually the week before that I am not a buyer of this book. CGC 6.5 recently sold last week for $1,200, actually up 18% since the week prior. This book is a little bit too hot for me right now. I think it's a little bit overpriced. I do think The Rock will do an amazing job as Black Adam, and when we finally meet Shazam in that universe, it will probably be an epic movie. But either way, I think this book is a little bit too expensive to buy right here, right now. Again, I'm not sure long term what Black Adam has going on for the DC universe. So with that said, I'm probably staying away at these prices. But if you can find one for cheap, undervalued, and you want to jump on it, be my guest. At the top spot this week is another book that's been all over the list the past couple of months. It is a copy of Fantastic Four, number 94, the first appearance of Agatha Harkness. Now, this book keeps going up every other week, believe it or not. The CGC 6.0 recently sold last week for $380, and that's up 29% since just 2 weeks ago. Like I said, every other week this book is on the list. It just keep going higher and higher, and to me, it is still undervalued. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Agatha Harkness will be in the MCU for a few years going on now. We know she's going to get her own Disney Plus show. We don't know how she's going to affect the MCU going forward, but I do think she is going to stick around. So yes, I am still a buyer of these books at these prices. I still think it's relatively cheap for a 6.0 to only spend $380, and I bet you could probably find a raw copy for cheaper than that around the same grade. So that's it for this list this week, guys. You guys let me know what you think down in the comments. Are you a buyer of any of these books right here? Are you a seller? Do you think some of these books don't belong on this list this week? Comment down below. Let me know. I'm always interested on what you guys have to say. Hopefully, I'll have some new videos besides Hot 10 lists coming forward. My football season is almost over, so I'm looking forward to that and chatting with more of you guys about these books and about the stuff that I hopefully will be buying in the future. With that said, this is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.